Good morning, students. Last class we discussed the multiplier concept and also we discussed different type of multiplier and also we finished the accelerator introduction of accelerator principle. And today we are going to discussing the remaining, that is last part of fourth lesson. Today we are going to discuss the operation of the accelerator principle and the limitations of accelerator and the leverage effect and the super multiplier. And today I think we hope completed up to fourth lesson, and the next class onwards we are going to discuss the fifth lesson. Now we are going to discussing the operation of accelerator principle. Now we are going to discuss the operation of the accelerator principle. For example, suppose in order to produce 1000 consumer goods, whatever it may be, 1000 consumer goods, and we are using 100 machines for recover of the production of 1000 consumer goods. So the 100 machine is need for producing 1000 consumer goods. Also, suppose the working life of a machinery, every machinery is 10 years. Okay, so we produce 100,000 product. We produce 1000 product. We need 100 machines. Each machines they have 10-year lifetime. This means every year 10 machines have to be replaced, because one machine is equal to 10-year lifetime. So every 10 year we are replace one machines, or we are using one new machines. Every 1 year, every 10 year we are replacing one machines. Means that every 10 year, 10 machines, every year 10 machines have to be replaced in order to maintain the constant flow of 1000 consumer goods, because we need 1000 consumer goods. We are using 100 machinery. Every year 10 machines, the lifetime of the machinery is 10 year. Every year 10 machines have to be replaced, because we need constant flow of 1000 consumer goods. This might be called replacement demand. This might be called replacement demand. Suppose the demand for the consumer goods rises 10% of 1000 product. So 1000 product, 10% increasing, it will lead to 1000 to 1100 productions are increasing. Our demand is increasing from 1000 to 1100. This result in the increase in the demand for 10 more machines, because 10% increasing, we are increase the product from 1000 to 1100. We need additional 10 more machines, so that the total demand for machine is every year 10. Every year 20 machines we. How the 10 machines for replacement and 10 for meeting increased demand from 1000 to 1100. So every year we need 20 machines, 10 for replacement because lifetime is over, 10 for replacement and another 10 machines for meeting the increased demand. It may be noted here 10% increase in the demand. Only 10% increase in the demand for consumer goods, it causes 100% increase in the demand for machines. Okay, the machine is only increase, the output is increasing from, or demand is increasing from 1000 to 1100 only, but we need 20 machines, 10 for replacement and another 10 for new machine. So 10% increase in the consumer demand, it will lead to 20% increase in the machines from 10 to 20. A mild change in the finally we conclude this. The mild change in the demand for consumer goods will lead to the wide change in the investment, or maximum change in the changes in the investment, because consumer goods increase from 1000 to 1100, but the demand for machinery is increasing from 10 to 20. Another 100% of machinery is increasing for fulfill the consumer demand. Next we will move to the diagrammatic explanation. O x-axis represent income, O y-axis represent saving and investment. And here the red color curve is called SS curve, that is saving curve, and II curve, this is called the II curve is called investment curve. At the point E1, both income and saving meet together at point E2, and this is called point E3. At point E1, the economy is equilibrium with OY1. So here the income is also meet out the investment. Okay, both the investments are equal. Investment and incomes are equal. That is equilibrium point 1. And savings and investment are equal to OI2. The income is OY1, it will equal to the OI2. Savings and investment is level of OI2 and OY1. Both savings and investment meeting together are equal at the point E1. Now his investment is increased from OI to OI4. Investment is increased from OI2 to OI4. This increasing the income from OY1 to OY3. The investment will increase from OI2 to OI4. The income is increased from OY1 to OY3. The equilibrium point P is called E3 because here we are meeting equilibrium point. Both the income and investment line is meeting at a point E3. If the increasing the investment from I2 to I4 purely exogenous. So exogenous means later I will tell. So then the increase income by OY1 to OY3 have been due to multiplier effect, because a multiplier means there is close relationship between income changes and investment changes. It is known as the multiplier effect. But in this diagram, assumed the exogenous investment only by I2, I3. The exogenous investment from I3 to I4. The maximum investment from I3 to I4, therefore increasing the income from Y1 to OY1 to OY2 due to the multiplier effect, and the increased income from OY2 to OY3 due to the accelerator effect. So Y1 to OY2, it is called a multiplier. Income increases from OY2 to O3, this income is increases from accelerator effect. Next we will move to the limitations of accelerator principle. The assumptions of constant capital, output ratio is unrealistic. But in normal life, we cannot be able to increase the investment and increase the income simultaneously. This theory is not suitable for real life. It is called the unrealistic one. And the second one is the resources are natural resources, human resources, financial resources are available only before the full employment. We cannot be able to give the full employment to the people. And the third one is excess capacity in capital goods industry is assumed. So if you are increase the income or if you want to increase the investment, the excess capacity of capital goods industries is assumed. That means excess capacity, both the building, machinery like this. And the fourth one is accelerator will work only if the increased demand is permanent, not temporary. So when demand is increased permanently, at the time only the accelerator principle is working, not for normal life. And the next one is the accelerator will work only when credit is available easily. The accelerator, because we increase the investment from maximum. Our income is very low, but we need investment faster. We need more investment, so we will borrow money from bank, financial institution, friends, relative, money lender. When the credit is easily available, this accelerator principle will work. And the fifth one is if there is unused or excess capacity, if there is unused or excess capacity in the consumer goods industry, the accelerator principle will not work, because the accelerator means immediately we fulfill the consumer needs, but the excess capacity or unused resources will not help to the working of accelerator principle. Next we will move to the another type of multiplier, that is known as the super multiplier. So that is called K and beta is interaction. Later I will explain mathematically in the 12th lesson. So now we will go through the theory part. The super multiplier is greater than simple multiplier. The super multiplier is greater than simple multiplier, which includes only the autonomous investment. When the government to invest the autonomous investment for some public work, the super multiplier is working. And no induced investment in the super multiplier, no profit making investment in the super multiplier. Only the autonomous multiplier will work in the super multiplier. Next we will move to the leverage effect. The leverage effect means the combined effect of both multiplier and accelerator is called leverage effect, which it will lead to the economy very high or low. Whether the economy will reach the highest position or whether the economy or economic growth will reaches the very lowest level, this leverage effect will work. The formula of leverage work is Y is equal to C plus IA plus IP. Y plus C plus IA plus IP, where Y is equal to the aggregate income of the nation and C is equal to consumption expenditure of the country, and I is equal to autonomous investment of the government, and IP is equal to induced investment by the private people. Students, so far we are completed successfully for up to 4th lesson, and in next class we will move to the 5th lesson. Before we are going to start the 5th lesson, that is monetary economics. If we have the book, just to go through the lesson, just to read, you will get some idea about this monetary economics, because this is a lively concept. Monetary economics, without money we cannot live. So next chapter we will discuss about monetary economics. And please students, you will attend the online live classes for doubt clarification. Only 8 or 9 students come for this online live classes from DG. I need full attendance, otherwise you cannot clear your doubts in future also. Okay, because now the situation is going to very tragically. So if now you will clear your doubt, later you will expert in the economics. Okay students, next class we will go into monetary economics. Stay safe at your home. Thank you.